It's not a good day. I'm like Gene Autry. I don't like to be fenced in. Don't fence me in.
No, this is mine. Yeah. But
Official almost always lands on their feet, and sometimes you have to endure things that you're not comfortable with in order to make society more comfortable for more people.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Can't stop the press. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna go through what security is supposed to do first. Before we go over what's going to happen today and everything first, we're going up what security is supposed to do.
I'm energized. Hopefully, a lot of folks in the city is going to turn out, and we're going to shake the building across the street, 250 Broadway.
The Community Safety Act bill must be passed, and because it is vital for our youth to understand that they have a voice, and that it's possible that policies can be changed with the power of the people.
where did you all go?
With the power of the people, we can't be stopped.
Per day?
They call it a fact that multinational pharmaceuticals won't allow generic drugs to compete with them.
It's starting now.
Stand around. Having fun.
Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Check 1 2, check 1 1 2, check 1 1.
Go over there? Sure, you gotta lift it over there.
How do you spell racist? NYPD! How do you spell racist? NYPD! How do you spell racist?
And so we've been doing some work in New York City around policing for a long time. And oftentimes we've been told not to touch this subject, right? But here's what we say. So when they tell us to not touch this, when they tell us to get back, we say fight back. Ain't that what we say? So when they say get back, we say fight back. They say get back, we say fight back. They say get back, we say fight back. Get back, fight back. Get back, fight back. Get back, fight back.
You guys look like New York out there. Very happy to see you. I'm very proud to be the prime sponsor of the Community Safety Act.
Thank you!
And I thank you guys for being here, for keeping the pressure on. It seems like the whole city is now pushing back on these policies that we all know violate civil rights, civil liberties, and are not even effective. Commissioner Kelly, every time there's a police officer in trouble, says don't judge the entire police department based on a few bad apples. Why then does the police department treat our communities based on a few bad apples in the community? If it's good for you, it should be good for us as well. And we're so happy that this Community Safety Act is bipartisan, multi-religion, multi-borough. Everybody, multi-race, has gotten together to say, if it happens to one amongst us, it's happening to all amongst us. If it's happening to black, Latino, homeless, Muslim, LGBT, then it should be happening to nobody. Everybody is coming together to take a stand and say we will not have our rights violated. Our civil liberties were fought hard, people died, and we must continue.
New York City, how y'all feeling, man? How you doing, New York City? I wrote some things down, but I just want to start by telling y'all that I came here today because I love this city. This is the greatest city in the world. That's why I'm here today. But I'm here today because this city can be greater. And it's up to you, and it's up to me, and it's up to all of us to make this city greater. In a fair and equal world, stop and frisk might make sense. But we don't live in a fair
fair and equal world. We live in a world where not everybody starts at the same place. We live in a world that was built on the backs of slaves, some of them still buried right here under City Hall. You understand what I'm saying? Politicians have been convincing people that poor people, black people, Latino people, the underbelly, the underclass are some sort of scourge, some sort of thing that we need to stop, some sort of thing that makes us not safe. It's a group that must be policed and monitored more than your average citizen. Law and order candidates have run on this premise and won. Nothing is said about the conditions that create this despair. Nothing is done about it. Law and order has become code for legal discrimination rather than keeping us safe. Poor people, black people, Latino people, we deserve the same rights as every American citizen. To not be treated like criminals in our own homes, to not be treated like criminals in our own backyards. Matter of fact, I want to take this time to shout out District Attorney Robert Johnson from the Bronx, who said that no longer will he honor any frivolous trespassing arrest based on stop and frisk. Apparently people in the Bronx, people who live in public housing, are being stopped and arrested for trespassing in their own homes. They're being arrested, their invited guests are being arrested, and Robert Johnson is doing what our mayor is not doing. He's listening and participating with his community. And I want to salute that brother for doing that. Word is bond. Stop and frisk is something that touches me personally. I've been stopped and frisked way before this rally. I have a son that's 16 years old. It's illegal. Every American citizen has the right, the constitutional right, to be free from unreasonable search and seizure. In a country that was built on racism, in a country that's built on slavery, what is reasonable suspicion? How can you quantify that? To our mayor, instead of dissing all these people for voicing their concerns, for voicing their dissatisfaction, for doing their duty, for being patriots, instead of dissing them, you need to pay attention to them. We live in these neighborhoods, like my man Jamani said, we live in these neighborhoods. We want the violence to stop more than anybody. We want the guns off our streets more than anybody. But to Mayor Bloomberg, to the NYPD, you must work with us, not against us. I heard our mayor say that no one should ever be racially profiled. What world does our mayor live in? I don't know. I don't live in that world. You can't stop racism with laws. You can't legislate compassion. We will not allow you to support policies that encourage racism. We will not allow you to support policies that encourage racism. We will not stand for it. We will not stand to the side. We will not have it. I want to say that we are not anti-police. We are pro-community. We are pro-people. We are not anti-police. We are pro-community, and we are pro-people. Police officers in this city and all over the world put their lives on the line daily, as our mayor has reminded us. But who exactly are they putting their lives on the line for? Police are supposed to serve and protect. Who are they serving? Who are they protecting? Too often it ain't us. They protect the property owners and the property values. When the people righteously criticize and protest policies, and believe me, it's your right to do so, it's patriotic to do so, the police aren't sent in to hear the issues and resolve the conflict. The police are sent in to crack your head and protect the property and protect the interests of the property owner. We need to work with police in our community. Police practice stop and frisk based on reasonable suspicion, but in this country, we profit off of that. We profit off of the backs of these people that the police are arresting. There are officers who are against stop and frisk, and I salute those officers. There are officers who are against the quota system that rewards them with promotions over stop and frisk, over juking the stats. Y'all all seen The Wire? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yes. Police officers put their lives on the line daily. But when we have policies that allow the police force to trample on our rights as citizens, so do we, so do I, so do you. My name is Talib Kweli. I stand with y'all. Stop and frisk. Peace and love.
My body, my life as a young brown gay person is policed by the NYPD. Our bodies, our very beings as LGBTQ youth of color are policed by the NYPD. This is why we need the Community Safety Act. These bills would protect us from being profiled based on our race and also based on our age, our sexual orientation, our gender identity, our HIV status or disabilities, or the fact that we are disproportionately homeless. And by ensuring our right to not consent to a search is respected, whether we are being told to open up our pockets, open up our bag or purse, or submit to a gender check without any legal basis. The Community Safety Act will help ensure that at moments like I have described today, that our rights become a reality.
14 years ago, we thought Rudolph Giuliani was out of control and he was only doing $80,000 a year. Last year, Bloomberg Bloomberg did almost 700,000 a year. He lies and he tells people that he does this to make us safer. But answer me this, Mayor Bloomberg. How has Los Angeles decreased crime twice as far by ending racial profiling than you have by expanding racial profiling? You brag that you brought down crime 29% in 10 years. But you don't want anybody to know that LA has brought it down 59% in those same 10 years. It is time for the lies to stop. This is a city where the world comes together, and you know what? As Frederick Douglass said over 150 years ago, 4/5 of the world is colored people.
Right.
And it's time for New York City's finest to stop being afraid of 4/5 of this city. Right. Now, people say that marching don't do much anymore, but I'll tell you this. What did we see right after that? The number of stop and frisk went down. What did we see right after that? San Francisco, where Mayor Bloomberg actually called up the mayor and said, please expand my stop and frisk program in San Francisco. The mayor thought about it, toyed with it, and said, no thank you, Mr. Bloomberg. And now we find out that just a few weeks after that march, the DA of the Bronx said, you know what? We're going to stop doing these prosecutions because these kids are innocent. And so what you have done is you have made the cops second-guess themselves. You have made Mayor Bloomberg's peers second-guess him. And you have made the DA second-guess himself. And so now it's time for us to make the mayor himself second-guess himself. Let's get rid of stop and frisk. Si se puede.
I have seen, unfortunately, too many Black and Latino individuals who assume the position simply as a matter of course. Too many individuals who accept stopping and frisking as a way of life. And that is why I stand here today, because I know, as a New Yorker who believes in the law, that we can do better. Pass this bill now.
That I've seen in a really, really long time. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Gene, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, my prepared speech will be available on our website. In deference to my sister here, I'm just going to hit a few bullet points. You know, if you listen to the mainstream press, you would think that we're a bunch of radicals here that want to see New York City turn into an OK Corral or a free-for-all. That's not so. Not too long ago in New York's history, in response to a need for police reform, there was a Knapp Commission, and they made recommendations, and the bottom line was that the police cannot police the police. And then subsequent to that, there was the Molding Commission, and guess what? The same conclusion, that the police cannot be trusted to police the police. But I want to congratulate you today, because this is a People's Commission, and we can police the police. And I want to say to all the members of the status quo that's here infiltrating this great movement, that we say to you, hands off our youth, the Constitution is bulletproof. Hands off our youth, the Constitution is bulletproof. Unfortunately, I represent a growing constituency in our city, the homeless citizens of New York. That's who I represent, and my organization, Picture the Homeless, stands steadfast with the least amongst us, which is the homeless population of New York City. We don't need to be criminalized, we need to be stabilized. We don't need to be criminalized, we need to be stabilized. Affordable housing for everyone. It's appalling that in the richest city in the world, when I walk down the street, I see more stray homeless people than I see stray dogs and cats. But again, the status quo wants to create another subhuman division, making homeless people a sub-entity that's not entitled to the same level of civil rights and human rights that house people are entitled to. We say, hell no, illegal policing has got to go.
Drops mic. All right, Gene. Yeah.